All right, what is up, everybody? I haven't done this live in a while, but I figured I would jump on, and I made a couple of Facebook posts. And one I want to talk about today is dogs having or needing to eat animals. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my posts. Got a lot of comments, and I'm just gonna go through the comments and talk about it. But I think so many people don't realize that you don't actually need to feed your dogs animals in order for them to be healthy. So the research is out there, the information is out there, but just so many people are stuck on, dogs are like wolves, dogs ascended from wolves, and so you just need to feed your dogs meat. So putting us or humans aside, we're omnivores, and obviously don't need to eat animals to be strong, fit, and healthy. The same goes true for dogs. And so I'll share with what my post, what I started with, and got a lot of comments. So we'll dive into them. But here it is. So vegans and meaters improving interaction skills for vegan activists since 2010. So this is the group that I posted on. I think there's a lot of I think there's just a lot of comments or a lot of interaction between people, vegans and a lot of people who eat meat. And so I felt like this was a good place to post this. But, my question was, why do you believe that dogs need to eat animals to be healthy? And I said, all the animals pictured below have consumed no animals the majority of their life, which is true. You can see here, you got Mila here is in the top. Um, and we have Guampy, right, his little Frenchie down bottom left. And rest in peace, Pebbles. She's in the bottom right with Jace. And we have what we feed them and what we have been feeding them for a long time, years now. So we've been vegan over 9 years, and soon thereafter, when we went vegan. We went plant based options. So Natural Balance has been around for at least 9 years that I know of. And going back, if you look up the research, I mean, it's been around since 1980. Even before that, you had plant based options for animals. And so this is what we've been doing. But man, the amount of hate that we received or that I received by posting this is I mean it's incredible. And so let's go through some of it. So 472 comments so far is what I got, and got 38 likes. I got a lot of laughs, but let's go one by one. Let's go through them all. So Kylie, do you have cats and what do you feed them, and if so? And so I said no cats here. But I said at the time I said I do believe that they make a plant-based cat food. And sure enough, he said they're obligate carnivores, you muppet. Feeding them plant-based is literally animal abuse, you hypocrite. Thank God you don't own a cat. And I said, if I did rescue a cat, this is what I would feed them. So a quick Google search, they make vegan cat food. They make plant-based cat food. And so why do people don't think that this exists? And it's supplemented or it has everything that cats need. It wouldn't be out in the consumer market if it wasn't, if studies weren't done, if vets didn't think that this was a good thing, like they wouldn't allow us or humans to call them abuse or deny cats or our animals the proper nutrition, or for what they need. So, and then also the amount of name calling that I get here is pretty incredible as well. So stupid. So I ask why, and crickets, no response there. But let's keep it go. Circus. See, Circus, he says, yeah, I do. I said, why? Okay, so Circus Fox goes, because their biology is significantly different than ours. Me, I'm a human, I'm an omnivore, I can adjust my diet accordingly. The dog, those efforts are need meat. We evolved from primates, we can survive with or without it. So I'm glad we agree here, Circus. For humans actually absolutely don't need to eat meat, which is good. A lot of people don't think that we could be strong, fit, and healthy without eating animals. But so Circus agrees here. But when it comes to dogs, dogs need it. Those mother effers need meat, is what he says. So here's a question that I mean, a lot of people don't have an answered yet. But what is in animals that they need and aren't getting from a plant-based commercial dog food? And when I say, they're not just eating tofu and broccoli and carrots. They're eating a supplemented consumer food, like a commercial plant-based food. And so everything is in there. It's supplemented with taurine and other things that they, essentially are good for their bodies. So it's like, what is wrong with that? I mean, he said if I were because if vegans cared about the animals in the first effing place, they wouldn't be keeping pets and forcing them to eat how they do. So I think this is also important to talk about. It's not about, for people, they say about forcing our views on our animals, and our animals don't have our views, but it's the fact that vegans, we don't want to contribute to exploiting animals for any reason whatsoever. And especially if we don't want to be contributing to the slaughterhouses and the commercial dog food. If you go and understand the commercial dog food and what that entails, it's absolutely horrendous. It's horrific. They feed the dogs. I mean, the commercial dog food is horrendous. It's terrible. And so, why would we want to contribute to that to purchase the dog food? And if you read also, this stuff isn't healthy for the dogs. A lot of dogs are getting diseases, and it's pointing back to the terrible commercial dog food. So let's not do that. Let's not contribute to that. Why would we want to contribute to that and pay for that and continue to fund those businesses that certainly are killing animals and feeding that business and supporting that business, the animal agriculture industries? Why would we want to do that? So it's just not what vegans want to do. We don't want to contribute to that. So he said, I would say the domesticated canine doesn't. Vegan forcing their pet to eat how they eat is the ultimate hypocrisy. I said what I said. And I said, don't be sorry. Are you familiar with how and why animals are rescued? So this is another point that I think people don't understand is that we rescued the animals because the animals would be like killed in at the animal shelter if we didn't rescue them. So we're taking them, and instead of ending their life and cutting their life short, we're providing a safe space for them to live out their life. I mean, call it a sanctuary. It's not like that we're keeping them in a cage and locking them and they're not enjoying their life. They certainly, would I love to have acres and acres for the animals to run all over the place? I mean, absolutely. But we're not we don't have that space for them. But what we do have, we feel like it's better than ending their life. And so that's what we did. We rescued our animals. And I think a lot of people rescue animals. I mean, look what they did in Ridgeland Farms. They rescued those beagles. They went in there and they're breeding beagles and testing on beagles. So they said, nope, let's go get them out of there. So I think it's amazing. So Uh, let's see. Don't be so and then look at Sam Diaz. So Sam Diaz, and he talks about is kind of answering Circus's tone here. But he said, my effort went on a vegetarian diet before I became vegetarian because our vet suggested it for a couple reasons. So here we have a person that actually had their vet, brought in their vet, and their vet recommended that their dog go on a plant-based diet for a number of reasons. And believe it or not, lived a very active, healthy, happy life and made it to 17 years old as a dog. 17 years on a plant-based diet. So I'm not sure how long that animal wasn't on or didn't eat any animals, but I know our animals at Pebbles lived another 9 years when we went vegan. So Again, she even survived pickup truck hitting her, no meat. So here we have a real life example from an individual that their vet told them that they recommended that their dog go on a plant-based diet. So, and you got other people in here that say, "Oh, all vets recommend, them eating meat. It's their natural diet." These poor dogs, Joshua. Let's go into here. 26 replies. Here we go. These poor. Let me go ahead and open these all up. So I said, why do you think this? Why do you think they're poor dogs? He said, because it's crazy to force personal diet choices on pets without overall health conditions. I feel the same for those insect-based protein dog foods. So I asked what the overall health conditions mean. And he said, because you're a streaming pile of shit, forcing your views on animals that can't speak for themselves, retard. And this is Jesse coming in. He's very animated. And again, I know nobody in this, like nobody. And I'm gonna say I rarely post. This is probably my fourth post inside this group. And it's simply like some people are just, I mean, well, we'll go into it. But so he said any condition that would bar a dog from eating whole animal based protein, allergies, kidney issues, and the like. So I asked Jesse, I said, what views am I forcing onto these animals? So again, we're not forcing any views onto animals. So your view that eating meat is wrong, dipshit. So here's another, I think a lot of people don't understand. It's not that I think that eating meat is necessarily wrong. Right? There's certain cases and certain places where eating meat is absolutely the right thing to do. However, I do believe that killing animals if you don't have to is wrong. If you don't have to, why like it's not the right thing to do to kill an animal. But if you have to for survival, for defense, and again to put an animal out of their misery, to euthanize them like we did with our oldest animal who couldn't get up and walk anymore. The quality of life was just not good. I think that there are cases where it is the moral decision to kill them. And I mean, I think that that's a humanely, obviously, to do that is the right thing to do. But I said either way, none of these animals are able to kill dogs or kill other animals and eat them, and so I do think that that is a good thing. So our dogs aren't killing anybody. They're not bred to kill. They're not, these are not carnivores by any means, right? This is a French bulldog, and this is, a boxer mix, and they really wouldn't hurt a fly, to be honest. So I told Joshua also no issues on any of our animals. By the way, none of our animals have any issues whatsoever. Even Pebbles, she had no issue transitioning. We basically just swapped it out, and she started eating the plant based foods with no issues at all, no problem. So Renee goes, she's laughing my face off, or laughing my effing ass off is LMFAO. She said dogs are predators, and I promise you, most definitely will kill and eat. Oh, and they will kill and eat smaller animals. I've seen it myself plenty. If dogs and cats could speak, they would tell you they prefer to eat what they were naturally intended to. You could say that. I mean, but we'll just never know. Dogs can't talk, So, and just because you've seen it yourself, going back to the whole post and the premise of the post is, why do you think it's necessary for dogs to eat animals to be healthy? And right, we already have one example of a vet specifically recommending an individual to have their animal or their dog go plant based for health reasons, for a number of reasons, but specifically health reasons. And so, dogs are not predators. They certainly are not, and neither are humans. But that's another discussion. So, animals know nor care nothing about veganism. It's a human ideal, and I never said anything about these animals nothing or care about veganism. I just know that our animals aren't out and they go outside. They're not killing or hunting any animals and eating them. So it's just they have the option to. They certainly can. It can't really stop them. I know Pebbles has killed, she caught a squirrel before, but certainly didn't eat it. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, just because they can kill other animals, I mean, it's not sure they understand. I mean, we'll never really understand what goes through a animal's head. We can try to think about it, but you know, and if they could talk, they tell me, that they want to eat animals. Maybe I just we'll never know. And I actually don't think that's the case. As long as it tastes good, I'm sure they wouldn't want to kill other animals if they didn't have to. Especially if they could listen to us and listen to our conversations. So yeah, animals know nor care nothing about veganism. That's great. I said, are these dogs predators like lions and tigers? So yeah, you know, dogs are not predators like lions or tigers, right? They're not out in the wild and have to kill for survival. They don't have to. But nobody owns a pet lion or tiger or living with them. Um, so yeah, did I say something that's different? And I said, no, given that I have the capability to hunt, kill, and eat other animals, it's pretty obvious. Renee said this. And then Elkie, is it Elkie? Phoenix Lurie said, do you eat what nature intended you to eat? What nature built you to eat? Plants. And then, yeah, she's obviously vegan and kind of, you know, kind of speaking up or speaking back in, support of animals or dogs not eating animals. Say if cows, pigs, chickens, etc. could speak in our language, would they tell us they prefer that we kill and eat them? So this was pretty funny because, talking about the dogs looking up at us and saying, "Hey, you know, Dad, we want to eat meat." And then on the same matter, right? Like, would the cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, would they be like, "Hey, Reenie, we don't want to be killed and have us be eaten." So I mean, let's listen to them if they were to say that. But I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm omnivore like every other normal person on this planet. So here we go again. Like vegans aren't normal. Like I can assure you, I'm normal. Like all vegans they're normal. They just think differently. They've connected. I'm saying we've connected back to the animals. We understand that we wouldn't want that done to us, and we don't have to. Again, if it's been proven or if it starts if the news comes out and it's like absolutely proof that we need to eat animals to be strong, fit, and healthy, I'll change it. I'll change the name of the channel. I'll change it and I'll actually start eating meat. I doubt it, but I can say that because it's not going to happen. So, normal person. So yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, I will say it's normal because 98% of the population do eat animals, and that's just the way you were brought up. It's just the information that's out there. We're in a society where it's normalized. It's literally in every fast food place. You have tons of options. You got chicken places, Raising Cane's chicken. You got Chick-fil-A, Chipotle. You got all sorts of fast food. Look at Burger King. Literally made billions of dollars made slaughtering and using cows, beef. So, it's normal. I mean, ate it for over 30 years. But again, we're not it's not that we're not normal. Like we just connected that. We understand that and we went against what everybody else is doing. And it's pretty easy to do once you start thinking about it, once you understand it. Dogs were not designed to survive off of just plant matter. It's not natural for them, much different than a person or not even remotely comparable. So yeah, I mean it's not just eating like broccoli or tofu, right? These commercial plant-based, dog foods are supplemented with the things that dogs need, and they're supported by call it the society that regulates dog food and their health. So, you know, like why wouldn't we go with that option? Uh Leanne says, isn't that what you do when you eat meat and animal secretions? Do those animals give consent? Any pet food you buy in the supermarket is unnatural diet for a dog. The only completely natural dog food is hunted, raw, and covered in fur. Does your dog eat raw food covered in fur or feathers? So that's a good point. If everyone's saying that, dogs natural diet is, to eat real animals, no dog is doing that. There's no dog that's doing that. Wild dogs maybe, but even then they'll look through garbages and, things, but they're not killing other animals. Rini, that isn't what we're talking about here. It doesn't matter if they could, there's still food for carnivorous animals, which includes dogs and cats. Okay. I said, yes, she eats raw diet, bones, fur, organs, feet. I don't feed my animals low rent garbage anymore. Stupid effing questions. So yeah, Jesse's animated. He drops a lot of F bombs. Jesse does. Um oh, this one. Look at all caps here. Josh or Jennifer to Joshua. Those poor dogs, shame on that owner for following veterinarian's number one recommendation for the utmost health and longevity of dogs and cat. What a horrible person to make sure that they're going to never get any kind of diseases. The kind that are killing one out of every two dogs now, like kidney disease and cancers. Wow, what an absolute to put his dogs through the longest, healthiest life they'll ever have. Oh, that bastard. Oh, I think I see what Jennifer's doing here. So she's kind of like I think playing the like she's being sarcastic here because I think she's vegan and in support of dogs not eating animals. Um, I wonder if he's the same guy that has the world's oldest dog. The one that's 28 years old. She's vegan. Her name is Bramble. Oh wait, no, I think she's 31 now. That's right. I'm going to ask my mom. She always fed all of our creatures vegan. They live to be ancient. She's had vegan cats 29 years, and she's got a vegan daughter that's 55. Looks like she's 12. I don't even know what he's talking about. Her who's never been sick, not once in her life. Maybe this isn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there with Jennifer. We'll see. Jesse, you don't look 12, little effing delusion. So yeah, Jesse's being rude. We'll skip Jesse. Oh wait, here's proof. That's not proof. Return that's effing Google. Okay, we're not gonna look at that. This is kind of silly. This went down a weird path. Um. All right, Janine. Here you go. Why do you believe it's right to own pets, imprison them in your house, make them submit to bondage with a collar and leash, force medical procedures on them without their consent, and to force them to eat species inappropriate diet against their will, but to still claim you're vegan for the animals? You treat your pets exactly as we treat our livestock. You're a hypocrite. Well, first of all, we don't kill our pets. So we don't treat it the same as livestock. So we're not killing our animals to eat them. Um, and I mean, again, it's the rescue. So I believe in rescuing animals, and so they don't die or get killed prematurely, right? These are innocent animals' lives. They weren't get born into the situation or the predicament that they're in. Imprison them in our house, much rather than being dead. I mean, I don't think they're in prison in our house. We don't keep them caged up or locked up, and we kind I mean, we do the best that we can with what you got. I mean, so what I'd love to have acres and acres of land for them to run around and, be free and do whatever they want. I mean, absolutely. But, we live in a society where you let them out. Literally, the neighbor's going to call the animal control. Animal control come picking up, and they'll kill them. They don't care. I mean, shelters are overpopulated anyway, and so they're going to kill them. So submit them to bondage with a collar and leash. Yeah, it's a law. But, do I like leashes and things? I mean, no, but you can't have the dogs running all over the place. Force medical procedures on them without their consent. Another post I brought up is artificial insemination or breeding animals into existence. Do I think that that's the right thing to do? Absolutely not. And so I would never breed dogs for profit or to sell or for any reason. and nor do I think that dogs should procreate. We help control the pet population. I remember Bob Barker saying that in The Price is Right. Have your pet spayed or neutered. And so I'm a big fan of that. Not let your dog live out the life, and the same thing. I mean, I don't think that we should be breeding cows into existence, and so ultimately, would that species go extinct? Yeah, it would, and I wouldn't be upset about that, because, look at what's happening to these animals, these cows. I mean, they're breeding them, they're taking them away. I mean, look at the dairy industry, but we'll stay focused on the dogs for now. So, do I think that that's the same as livestock? Absolutely not. So, yeah, we are vegan for the animals. I'm vegan for the animals, first and foremost, and all the other things that come with it is better. I mean, it's better for you. So, Elkie, I asked, what should I do? What do you suggest I do to them exactly? He says, you want them free, set them free. Don't force your will on them. Anything less is vegan hypocrisy. So that is, do you think that if you just set them free, that they're going to survive? Number one, like, no, that's not the way that works. They're certainly not going to survive. And again, they'll picked up by animal control. Somebody will call them on us and pick them up and kill them anyway. So, stray dogs, yeah, stray dogs, they're known around my neighborhood. There's no just stray dogs. You're gonna get called if you got dogs running around. So that's what I said. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they would survive. You're forcing your will on them is anti-vegan. Okay, man. Forcing our will upon them. So I said, no, not the right thing to do is let them go. What is my will? I said, whatever you wish it to be. An example of your post, forcing a facultative carnivore to eat a herbivore diet against its own will. Again, the animals, like these dogs, are healthy. They are super healthy, regardless of whether you think it's the natural diet or not. It doesn't matter. These dogs are healthy. They have no issues, no problems, no diseases. They're happy. They eat. They don't have to eat. They don't have to eat what is in front of them. They can go outside and kill animals. They can go outside and kill and eat animals, but they don't. They come back and they eat their food every night. And so, like, not forcing our will. We just don't want to contribute to killing and eating animals, and it's not healthy for them. I truly believe that the healthiest diet for for dogs is a plant-based diet with obviously supplements. If I'm gonna say they've proven that the supplements help, and that's what's available. And we're not in the business of making our own pet food, so that's what it is. Now, I do know people do eat their own, or make their own pet food out of plants. Great, and they whether they supplement or not. Monitor your dog's health, take them to the vet, have tests done. Done. It's not hard. It's not hard to think about. But the amount of people is just absolutely besides themselves and thinking like it's just not possible. This is animal abuse. Wait till we get to the animal abuse ones. It's incredible. Look at the farmer. He said many vegans are horrified and angry because they erroneously believe that calves are not fed with milk. Again, farmers have had enough vegan lies and abuse. This is a page where you can kind of create your nickname or whatever, or kind of have any name that you want. And this obviously is a dairy farmer, and really gets upset on my post, has commented a lot on each one of my posts, and is, just dropping comments left and right, even not even about the question posted. But he said you will feed their carnivorous pets a concoction of plants with industrial additives instead of their natural diet. Again, dogs are healthy. They're not, whether it's industrialized or supplemented or whatever, dogs are healthy. Then I said, I'm not, he said, I'm not, or I said, I'm not either horrified nor angry because he talked about vegans are horrified and angry. He said, did I mention you? I said, you mentioned vegans. Yes, but not you specifically. Are you officially representative of all vegans? When you were moaning about artificial insemination, do you imagine the procedure done to yourself or a woman? So my post before this talked about artificial insemination, and he just or she, I'm not sure who, but they had a fit. They like really did not like that post because I said, why do you think that artificial insemination is the right thing to do? And went on and on. I mean, and maybe that'll be another video because I get a lot of responses from that as well. So again, bringing in, worked them up that much where they're commenting on another post about dogs and bringing that into it. So, edit it. Said thanks. Previously, what did you ask? Oh, when you ask about AI, do you imagine the procedure done to yourself or a human woman? Okay, I'm just gonna respond to him while we're here. Uh, so when I did bring up that, I do look at it from the victim's perspective, or the person, or the animal, or the individual, or the being it's getting done to. A lot of people talked about artificial insemination being the right thing to do because it's less or it's more safe than actually natural breeding with a bull, or they talk about, cows and bulls and where it's safer for the animal because they don't get hurt. But if you ever understand and look at the procedure of artificial insemination, yeah, I mean, you talk about animal abuse. It literally is abusing the animal. I mean, watch a video. It's graphic, but you like that's a female individual animal. Like, imagine that being done to you, right? Like, so put yourself in the victim's perspective and then make your decision. But it's hard because we just say, we're looking at it from like this one lens. We're not putting ourselves in the victim's perspective. And then also we're looking at it as like a species perspective and not an individual, but each of these animals are individuals. And I think that's what's important to realize and understand. Um Eli goes on. So Jeannie Thompson, there's some back and forth there. That's a lot. Probably because they were so horribly abused. And I was like, yeah, they're rescued, so they actually were. Andrea's, she went into it for a little bit. She wasn't happy with my last post either with the artificial insemination. So she tells me how to post an argument. I'm just posting a question, and so just answer the question. That's all I'm interested in. Just answer the question, and then we can discuss from there. So, and she wants me to answer hers, just back and forth, but. Here's Dan. Let's talk about what Dan says. I'll answer for this because I know you won't answer him because you know it will fail. I'm an animal behaviorist and I canine dietitian, and I can promise you there are zero studies that show vegan-based diets, dogs or cats, work at all. Mind you, if you just skip right to my post, a quick Google search, there's plenty of studies showing otherwise. So for him to say he promises that there's zero studies, uh, not true. On the contrary, most dogs that fail to thrive are on some form of plant-based food. Dogs' digestive system has come accustomed to being with people, so it's forced the ability to digest food their body won't use properly. Vegan-based diets and dogs show up about 5 to 7 after the diet is started, and typically irreversible damage has been done. All these osteoporosis, eyesight issues, inflammation, increases likelihood of hip problems. This is leaving out the extremes of super high occurrence of malnutrition. Vegans that breed their dogs and pups. First of all, vegans don't breed dogs, right? Like we don't do that. And must be nourished to gain enough nutrient to thrive, and the mother suffers from many issues. The canine digestive system gains energy and mobility from meat and fat, yada yada. But there's a study that I just said. So You said dog's digestive system has come accustomed to being with people, so it forced the ability. Vegan-based diets and dogs show da da da. Apply this claim to humans. So I like Elke's perspective here, it's saying if it doesn't work for dogs, if dogs are being unhealthy, imagine the or people, humans doing that. So I felt like that was a good response there. The study's interesting, but the conclusions are being overstated. Blah blah. So he looks at a study, very small sample size. Again, there's not a lot of studies out there for plant-based food. It's relatively new, and I'm gonna say not a lot of people take effort or a stance in this. But the study, like, just wait. There'll be studies out there, like, just and look at the studies of, the human or the experiments that I just did. 9 years, animal, our own animal, all plant-based, no issues whatsoever. Lived to be 14, 15 years old, and then we're gonna find out with our 2 animals here, you know? And so, not that it's being overstated. No pure system has always been omnivore, blah, blah. Dan, the study was disproven years ago. Oh, now you can talk about peer to peer. Also, there's a reason why there's massive push away from traditional kibble. There's not a massive push away. Like, I mean, people are just so set in their ways and just can't imagine or look at it in another way, like being possible that there's a plant-based dog food. Just imagine, like, show me the nutrients and the animals need and just supplement it. How hard is that? Dogs do not need to eat animals. Like, there's nothing in animal protein that is needed that can't be from a plant-based option or supplemented with a plant-based option to give them the right nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, however you want to look at it, uh, for dogs to be healthy. I mean, like, look at these real life examples. So, I mean, people are sharing. Their vets are telling them to change or to convert their pets over to a plant-based diet. I mean, what else do you need to understand that this is true or that it could be true? That it there's a possibility of it being true. Is it just so far a stretch of the imagination that dogs cannot or they need to eat animals to be healthy? And it's really not. If humans can do it, dogs can do it, and just try it. I mean, that's where I was, and look how far we've gotten. Like, we're doing it, but people just they don't want it. Look, wolves and here comes Elke with 4 hours ago. This was recent. Wolves and wild canines eat berries, fruits, and plants. Canine plant eating is not a result of humans doing anything. If humans started as meat eaters, then what you think they ate before they invented and manufactured extraneous tools and weapons to procure, kill, butcher, and eat the large animals you eat? And why are you not eating those original animals you claim humans ate since the beginning? I like Elke's response there. Okay, here comes the animal abuse comments. Jesse. Oh, this was the one where Jesse got real upset. Feeding vegan is straight up animal abuse. So I said, why does he think so? Um, but here comes Sarah. So Sarah's also in support. But yeah, just so feeding them veggies, yes, it would be. But feeding them a food that's designed with all the good taste and the nutrients they need is everything that they need, which is true. You got like these formulated uh uh, dry food, commercial food that's formulated that has everything that they need. This is pretty basic, very simple, and I don't understand why it's so difficult and hard for people to understand that this is a real thing. Like, it's 2026. Like, we have self-driving cars, and you don't think that we can make a plant-based dog food? Unbelievable. So I like how so Sarah said that. Jesse respond there to a nice picture of his, chicken feet, whatever. So sure, you feed your dog that, they'll eat it. Dogs will eat it, for no doubt about it. So Sam is another fan. Again, that's his. He had a vet tell him that his to convert or to have his dog go plant based. So he said, "Can you cite the study article you got this opinion from?" That's hilarious. He said, "I don't need a study to tell me forcing animals to adhere to a diet based on the morals of fringe minority of the population is animal abuse. It's called common sense." Sam goes, "I don't think you have much sense as you think you do." And he said he needs a study article reference your opinion. If you can't provide something with solid backing, then your opinion doesn't mean anything. Do better. Jesse says hundreds of years of animal diet is enough evidence. Too bad you're not intelligent enough to observe and learn, and you need someone to tell you what to think. What a sad existence. I mean, Jesse's hurting real bad. I feel bad for Jesse. Um, Jesse, you're incorrect. Here's the proof. Thanks for the proof. Vegans are effing retarded and think everything needs to be backed up by a study for it to be true. Well, you can't just throw around like, oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think dogs can. I think dogs need to eat animals. Like, you just can't do that. You can't just be like, I think so. I mean, you could, but it's really not relevant. Do your own experiment, do your own research. It's all out there. And there's tons of examples and real life examples of animals thriving on a plant-based diet without eating any animals, especially eating these commercial-based, formulated vegan dog foods. You can. I even showed you vegan cat food. I said your AI profile is hilarious. He's da da da. So yeah, Jesse's he's angry. He likes to attack, name call, and just get real angry. So Jesse also said, "Look how depressed they look." So my thing is, I show a picture of the dogs and you tell me they look depressed, so that's why they need to eat animals. Come on, bro. Come on, Jesse. Be better. Um, Learn to type a coherent seconds. Oh, because I said I forgot you. And then it's talking about IQ. And then that's not how you get IQ. That's not how you measure IQ. Scotty Earl Hopper. I'm going to put this out there. Dogs and cats need protein from animals. All you are doing is animal abuse. You should be turned in. Shame on you corrupting animals like that. So I said, why do dogs need animal protein? Can you identify something specific that they need from animals? And Kimberly says, typical comment from an ignorant individual. Oh, I think Kimberly's on our side there, to Scotty. So, and yeah, I mean, I think people are ignorant when it comes to this. And it's just, they're so locked on that like they just can't imagine a dog descending from a wolf to be able to be healthy eating plants. It's just like there's just no possible way. Like it's just not possible. Like, and I mean, I think people think the same thing about humans. Like, wait, what? Like, you need meat. Where do you get your protein from? But all plants have protein. And I think people are blown away by that fact that all plants have protein. Sure, you need a variety of different plants to get your complete mineral acids or all your, everything that you need. You eat a variety of plants. But who's going to eat the same plants every single day? Nobody. Nobody wants to do that. Mix it up. You'll be good. It's easier than you think, for sure. So I said, why do dogs need animal protein? He says protein. They would eat you out of the house and home if animal products was not in their food. They haven't eaten me out of the house, and animal products are not in their food. And inhumane to starve a dog, and what y'all do is starving them. You are all sick individuals doing animals like that. And I mean, it's hilarious to think about, like, the thought here. Me giving our dogs plant-based food and then them call it killing an animal and then eating that animal and then talking about me being a sick individual doing animals like that. So, like, would it be better for me to kill the animals and eat them? Like, would they be supporting that? It's just really ironic that people are thinking this. And it's just like, I feel like they got tunnel vision. So many people got tunnel vision. So then I asked, I said, do you think these dogs are protein deficient? And they're not. And you don't know any human that's protein deficient, let alone a dog that's protein deficient. Um, he says y'all are dumbasses feeding a dog plants. Come on, for real. So I said, can you back up this claim? Nick to Scotty, education is key here. You should read some unbiased scientific information. So here comes another Nick, another real life example. My dogs came off medications and are now 15 years old, been plant based since they were 9. So 6 years of animals being plant based for Nick. These are real, like, this is real. Like, it's doable. And like, I just love the people laughing. Like, people laugh, like they just, it's hilarious. It's so funny, or it's like unbelievable. It's like, haha. And then Articulate Chipmunk answer his question. Scotty, you are a sick individual doing your dog that way. You should be jailed. POS. So what, Brandon, Nick, why do all dogs have 4 massive canine teeth? For eating plants and twigs? Do you think stray dogs are out there eating grass and berries? You people are effing wacko. Only a effing wacko would do something like this. Okay, then he's posting like PETA and what they're doing. Cool. He said, thanks for your input, Brandon. It's appreciated. Brandon, Nick, I'm not here to educate. Here's another one for the vegan crowd. This is not a woman. So again, Brandon just being upset at what we're talking about. He gets so upset he's got to post, things not even relevant. It's appreciated, Nick, just going back with him. So another one, Brandon, like not even reading. I think this is the word Brandon didn't even read the post. Just sharing like PETA stuff, calling us like crazy, you know. There's Reenie. Unless the dog has underlying health issues like allergies, animal proteins you've been working with, you have no other option left. Pushing veganism onto a healthy animal life because of your own belief is disgusting. There's no reason to not feed them a separate or a species appropriate diet. I mean, there's tons of reasons not to do that, especially because you'd be contributing to what's happening to the animals in slaughterhouses. Like, why would we want to contribute to what's happening to them if you didn't have to? And you don't have to. So we won't be doing that. All right, so I've been on 47 minutes here. I think this will be part one of the the dog episode here. So wanted to jump on. Figured this is a good time to end it. We'll continue to go through. I'll jump back on. But this will be a good one so far. Nobody jumped on. Nobody had um any wanted to come on live, but if you do come across this and you do want to set up some time to talk to me about this and share your opinion, share your views, I'll be not going to get angry. Not one of those people that's going to start calling you names or go crazy. Just really going to ask you questions, and we can have a civil discussion. We'll probably disagree, and but that's understandable. I get it. I understand. All right, so yeah, so our dogs can be healthy without eating any animals, and I'll keep you updated on our 2 animals, our 2 dogs, and I think you'll see more examples of that as time goes on. It's 2026, man. We do not need to feed our animals or dogs animals. We just don't need to do it anymore. So let's try to get that out of our head. Try to not be so biased or just so, have tunnel vision of like just can't imagine dogs eating, plants and being healthy. All right. All right. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.